Chapter 96, Because You Made Mistakes. Lu Hao was also startled. He looked like he didn't believe what he was seeing. After a long time, he recovered and suddenly grinned. What a coincidence. It's actually Brother Yi. Brother, you're here. As a cafe manager, Lu Hao said, 30% astonished and 70% in ridicule. Yup, Yishu laughed. Oh, how is it? Is it hard? How much money do you earn every month? Lu Hao asked as if he were very concerned about Yishu. 1800, Yishu said. In Chen Guo's internet cafe, most employees had a monthly salary of 1,500 yuan including food and shelter. For someone like him who had just arrived, this was quite good. Yishu earned an extra 300 because he was there full-time for the night shift. Whoa, Lu Hao acted extremely worried. 1800. Isn't that a little tight? Do you have enough money for your cigarettes every month? If you don't have enough, then you don't have to be polite. Come look for us, brothers. We're not that far away anyways. You just have to cross the street and walk a bit, no? Lu Hao said. Okay, Yishu said as if everything was normal. On the side, Tang Ru could hear that this wasn't any ordinary conversation. Something was fishy about this customer's tone. She turned her head and asked Yishu, "Your friends?" Right when Yishu was about to answer, Lu Hao stole it away. Hey! Don't flatter us as his friends. How could we dare be friends with Brother Yi? To be more accurate, we're only Brother Yi's underlings. Yishu remained silent as before. His gaze was locked straight onto Lu Hao. Lu Hao immediately retreated back a step and made an exaggerated expression of alarm. Wow! It's that look. It's that look again. Did you guys know? Once Brother Yi makes that look, then that means he's going to teach me a lesson. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That excellent dynasty guild leader Chen Yahui immediately took the opportunity. Brother Hao, he can't teach you anymore, right? Right, Lu Hao made another exaggerated expression. How could I forget? You're already no longer the team captain. Oh no, what are you going to do now? Brother Yi, you definitely want to say a few words to me, right? But what a pity. I don't have to listen to anything you say now. Ha 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 ha. Mister, did you drink too much? Tang Ru showed her rare impolite tone. Beautiful, you don't have to worry about it. This is a personal grudge between me and him. Lu Hao already had no interest in getting to know the beauty. Yishu laughed. He took the cigarette out of his mouth and put it out. He slowly stood up and said to Lu Hao, I always scolded you before because you made mistakes. You didn't want it to be like that, but you never gave me an opportunity to, no? Tang Ru made PFT laugh. Chen Guo was right. This Yishu really did have incredible skill at making others angry. Hearing this, Lu Hao really did grow angry. His previous act had already disappeared. Blue veins popped out from his head and he straightened his neck until he was in front of Yishu's face. I didn't give you angry opportunities? Or you didn't give me any opportunities? Starting from the first day I joined the team, you always beat me down and never gave me the chance to come out. I always knew that you were scared of me. Scared that once I came out, I'd steal your position. But did you really think that you could keep me down? What about now? The one who stayed on the team is me. The ones who has been kicked is you. I'm the team vice captain. You're a small cafe manager. 1,800 every month. Ha 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 ha. Hilarious, too hilarious. Ha 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 ha. Quote dot. Yishu silently stared at him. He didn't say a word. Lu Hao cruelly laughed. Chen Yahui also smiled with him. Wang Zi and Fang Fengren hid behind them with unnatural expressions, not saying a word. You too, Yishu suddenly opened his mouth. Lu Hao immediately held back his laughter. He wanted to hear what else Yishu was going to say. In the end, Yishu waved his hands at him and his gaze fell behind him. Move. I'm not talking to you too. Lu Hao turned his head and looked. Behind him was Wang Zi and Fang Fengren, but there's no way he'd move if Yishu told him to. In the end, Yishu ignored him and minded his own business. Both of you played badly today. Wang Zi, you still care too much about being beautiful. You have too many unnecessary movements making it easy for the opponents to find an opening. Actually, your opponent today is a good example for you to learn from. Simple and practical. If you can do it like that, then adding on your smooth skill and tempo, you wouldn't lose to anyone one-on-one. Fang Fengren, you're too careful. You always worry too much about the pros and cons. As a pro player, you should know that the difference between everyone's reaction speed and hand speed is very small. If you always think so much, then you'll obviously have the key moments stolen by your opponents. Using your brain to compete is good, but you think too much. There are times when you need to learn to rely on intuition to make a decision. Intuition isn't as unreliable as you think. It's an accumulation of your experience. Quote. Wang Zi and Fang Fengren stared blankly while hearing this. After listening, they weren't sure how to react. Answer, or not to answer. In the end, the two could only lower their heads. Hey, Lu Hao had also recovered after foolishly hearing this and suddenly jumped out. What are you doing? You're still pretending you're the team captain? What qualifications do you have to teach my teammates? Ah. And you, Yi Shu looked towards Lu Hao. When Sun Jiang's energy was like a rainbow in the second round, did you not realize this? When he was completely relying on his individual strength in the team competition, did you warn him of anything? Did you have a complete plan to deal with Yang Kong's and Xu Bin's combo? I always scolded you because you made mistakes. I didn't let you come out because you're still too far off. But I have to admit, you are quite capable. You were actually able to climb your way up like this. Since it's already like this, then work properly. That isn't an easy position. Strength, you need true strength. You can do it. F***CK, you. Okay, the four of you can go back, Yi Shu made an order to expel the guests. What are you doing? We're here to use the internet. Give us 4 computer stations, Lu Hao yelled. Yi Shu took a newspaper and rolled it up into a tube. He went to something on the wall and tapped at it a few times. But the lighting wasn't good, making it difficult to see clearly. Little Tang, turn on the lights here. Yi Shu turned his head. Tang Ru agreed. After the lights turned on, Yi Shu once again took the newspaper roll and tapped a clause hanging on the wall. He turned his head and said towards Lu Hao, do you see it? The internet cafe has the right to refuse any drunk people. I'm so sorry, you four. Lu Hao was furious. They had drunk a bit of alcohol, but they were still far from drunk. How could they be considered drunk people? This guy was clearly using a feather as a banner of command. Lu Hao was about to argue when Yi Shu dully said, don't be so noisy. You guys are also public figures. If you keep on being noisy, then you guys won't look good. After saying this, Yi Shu quietly took out a cigarette from his pocket, lit it, and put it in his mouth. Lu Hao's gaze was fixed maliciously on Yi Shu. In the end, he clenched his teeth and turned around. We're leaving. I won't send you guys off. Yi Shu lit his cigarette. His eyes followed them as they left. Tang Ru had stopped playing long ago. She had quietly watched the entire scene. After seeing Yi Shu puff out some smoke, she noticed that his face looked a bit sad and then immediately returned back to his usual half-dead, lazy look. Who were they? Tang Ru still asked. They were former colleagues, Yi Shu dully said. People from the Glory Pro scene? Tang Ru asked. Yeah, Yi Shu said. Were they famous? Tang Ru said. They were quite famous. You actually said you didn't recognize them, making them look like they lost a lot of face. Did you know that? Yi Shu smiled. I can't do anything about that, Tang Ru said helplessly. I only know 2 pro players from Glory. They were both often talked about by Guo Guo. One is called Su Mucheng and the other is called Yi Chu. Haha, Yi Shu laughed. Especially that Su Mucheng. Guo Guo really likes her. She even had a few ads of Su Mucheng hanging on her wall, Tang Ru said. Oh, it doesn't look they're gone now, Yi Shu recalled. You've been in Guo Guo's room? Tang Ru was astonished. Once, when I helped bring her a blanket, Yi Shu immediately explained in order to avoid her making the mistake that he was some kind of guy that looked to steal stuff from a girl's room. Oh, she fell asleep on the sofa again? Tang Ru was experienced. Yeah, is she always like that? Yi Shu asked. Pretty much every day. She's probably sleeping on the sofa right now, Tang Ru said. Shouldn't you go check on her? Yishu said. You're fine? Me? Do you really think I'm not? Yishu asked a question in reply. They. Ha ha. It was just a small scene. I can sail against any strong storm, Yishu laughed. Then that's good, Tang Ru said and went upstairs. Yishu watched her back and smiled. This girl had a good heart. She was even afraid that he wasn't feeling good and talked about this and that to accompany him for a bit. Tang Ru went up and came back down after a short while. After coming over, she declared, my guesses were correct. She was asleep on the sofa. Tisk tisk, Yishu sighed. His hands were already focused on playing the game. Tang Ru also continued to run the dungeon non-stop. After quietly playing for a while, she suddenly asked, will they come back later? No, Yishu said. Why? I feel that because they know that you're here as a cafe manager. Tang Ru didn't finish. She knew that Yishu also saw those people's true intentions. When those people saw Yishu, they wanted to go to a computer station even more. They would have used the opportunity to order him about as a servant in the internet cafe. Because it's not convenient, Yishu said. Why is it not convenient? Tang Ru didn't understand. Think about it. If a professional sports star randomly appeared on a crowded field, what do you think would happen? Yishu said. Oh. It's the same. The internet cafe is a place where many glory players gather. If they randomly appeared here, what would happen? Wouldn't there be a crowd around them? They'd be even more bothered by it than me, Yishu laughed. I understand. Tang Ru immediately thought of the 4 guys from before who had first looked around to see if anyone was there. Don't worry about this. Hurry up and level, Yishu said. I'm level 20, Tang Ru announced. Oh, Yishu turned his head. Soft Mist had already reached level 20. Change classes and then go to Frost Forest, Yishu said. Chapter 97, Stupid Noob. The quests for changing classes were difficult for normal newbies. They would often need to try it again several times before succeeding. But for Tang Ru, who had quick hand speed, it wasn't difficult at all. She easily completed the quests for changing classes and Soft Mist officially became a battle mage. Where are you? Tang Ru asked Yishu. Yishu sent some coordinates over to her. He, 7 Fields, and Sleeping Moon had already rushed over towards the dungeon. In addition, he sent Steamed Bun Invasion a message to come over too. But Steamed Bun Invasion had already become addicted to PK in the arena as if he were Dugu Chubai. He was actually unwilling to go dungeon. There was nothing Yishu could do about this noob. No matter what a noob played, he'd quickly become addicted. No matter what a noob played, he'd find it fun. While hurrying on, Yishu sent a message to Tyrannical Ambitions guild leader Cold Knight, asking him if he had gotten a hold of the information on Excellent Dynasty's party. Not yet. It's not easy finding what equipment they had, Cold Knight replied. Glory didn't have any setup to directly check a player's information. In order to figure out a stranger's equipment, you had to be very familiar with the equipment and then examine the clothing on a character. Cold Knight was quite meticulous for this task. He sent an equipment specialist from his guild to study those 5 players' equipment. Their classes then? You should at least know their classes by now, right? Yishu asked. That wasn't hard to find. Yeah, we've already found it. Grey-Black is a Spellblade. Sea Breeze is a Sharpshooter. Inherit is a Striker. Nowhere to Run is a Witch. Purse is an Elementalist, Cold Knight said. Okay, got it, Yishu replied. The corners of his mouth were grinning carelessly the whole time. Spellblade, Striker, and Sharpshooter just happened to be the classes that Lu Hao, Wang Zi, and Fang Fengren used. When he saw that these 3 in Excellent Dynasty's guild leader Chen Yahui were together, Yishu had already suspected this. Now that he got the info, sure enough, the 10th server's Frost Forest clear record was indeed done by pro players. But these 3 really did have a lot of free time. To actually come out and clear Frost Forest, that sort of low-level dungeon, what exactly were they planning? Just for fun? Yishu couldn't think of the reason why at this moment. If they wanted to play for fun, then they could have just gone to the Heavenly Domain to play. Was it possible that they just did it because they wanted the pleasure of setting a new record? If it was like that, then Yishu had to blush with shame on behalf of them. To challenge the record for the new server's Frost Forest, that was like if an NBA basketball star came to a high school match to determine the winner. How shameful was that? But no matter how shameful that was, pro players coming out really was different. They had set the all-time record for Frost Forest in all 10 servers. In fact, in each of the servers, there were many dungeons where the final record was set by pro players. Moreover, they were also the highest records in all of the servers. However, these records weren't admired by anyone. On the contrary, players were actually angry at them. These records set by pro players were clearly better than normal players by a large margin. No matter how hard a normal player tried, they wouldn't be able to beat it. They lost the chance to get the rewards for setting a new record for no reason. Of course they wouldn't be happy. What happened to pro players? Pro players didn't compete in the alliance and ran to the game to bully others? The forums were once filled with these posts, making the pro players that set new records look extremely bad and making them not dare to say that those records were set by them. The characters that set the records became disused and basically became characters hated by everyone. In reality, these pro players didn't mean to be bullies. They had just casually played because they were bored. They didn't think that they would have caused such a ruckus. There were even conspiracy theorists. They thought that the game company invited these pro players to deliberately set impossible to beat records, so that players wouldn't be able to set a new record and grab the rewards. The game company had taken a bullet even though they weren't involved, as if they received an unjust treatment like Liu Shui. They had received unjust treatment. When the anger was at its peak, they even had to go out and explain it. In the end, they had to negotiate with the Professional Alliance, and the Professional Alliance made a statement saying that pro players were not allowed to do this sort of thing. But a statement was just a statement and no one monitored it. As a result, it all depended on the pro player. However, to be honest, pro players didn't really have any interest in setting this sort of record. After this mess, such an act became even rarer. After all, if the record was clearly made by a pro, then millions of players would hate them. Only those mentally twisted guys would like that sort of feeling. So for those three to set the Frost Forest record, Yishu really didn't think too much of it. Seeing that they were together with Chen Yahui, it was probably Chen Yahui who mentioned it, so the three just conveniently played around. Low-end dungeons had their good points. Although it made them seem even more shameless, not many people paid attention to low-end dungeons. Are you there yet? Yishu turned his head to look at Tangru's screen. His group of three had already arrived. They were currently waiting for Tangru and Steamed Bun Invasion. On the way, Tangru said. Do you know the way? Tangru was still a noob, so Yishu was afraid that she didn't know the way there. I know. It looks like Tangru wasn't that noobish. Outside of the dungeon, the 5 players met. Seeing that the new player was a female character, ordinarily, they would have went over to check her out. But because Brother Expert had brought her, 7 Fields restrained himself. Sleeping Moon, on the other hand, expressed that such an act was beneath him. Only Steamed Bun Invasion, that stupid noob, ran up in front of Soft Mist and bounced up and down. Hey beautiful. Before level 20, Tangru had leveled on her own. Previously, when she played with Chen Guo, she was only controlling the character and had never communicated with others. This was her first experience with Glory's voice system. After staring blankly for a bit, she suddenly started laughing. What are you laughing at? Yishu turned his head strangely. So that's how you speak? It feels so stupid, Tangru said. After seeing Steamed Bun Invasion bouncing up and down and say a single greeting, Tangru had laughed uncontrollably. For the first time, Yishu began to have a few doubts. Were these two reliable? Beating a record set by pro players isn't something so easy to do. How do I speak? Tangru asked. Oh, is your voice option not turned on? Yishu recovered and instructed Tangru to turn on the voice option. Tangru coughed twice and then greeted everyone with a, "Hi everyone." Immediately after, she began laughing again. What's so funny? Yishu couldn't understand. I don't know either, Tangru laughed while saying this. In the game, Steamed Bun Invasion was quite excited. Wow, it really is a beauty. Even her voice sounds nice. Brother 7, Little Moon Moon, did you guys hear it? Little Moon Moon UF*CKER, Sleeping Moon was alarmed. How terrible. How could someone he just met already know of this top-secret nickname? It must have been that son of a B*TCH who privately taught him, right? Sleeping Moon began conspiring theories. He obviously didn't know that right now, whenever he was talked about, they would always use the name Little Moon Moon. Of course, Seven Fields and the others still used Sleeping Moon when they were in front of him, but Steam Bun Invasion couldn't care less. A noob. What was a noob? This was one. Okay, stop being so noisy. Let's party up and get ready to dungeon. This is Soft Mist's first time doing this dungeon. Everyone take care of her, Yishu said. Your name is really pretty, beautiful, Steam Bun Invasion said. Thank you, Tang-Ru politely replied. Beautiful, what's your astrological sign? Steam Bun Invasion said. Aries, Tang-Ru answered. Cough, Yishu coughed. Beautiful, can you guess what sign I am? Steam Bun Invasion asked. I don't know, Tang-Ru said. Guess. I'll give you 3 guesses, Steam Bun Invasion said. Cough cough cough. We're going into the dungeon, you too, Yishu couldn't bear it anymore. But after going into the dungeon, would Steam Bun Invasion calm down? Of course not. He continued to circle around Soft Mist and say, beautiful, be careful. This dungeon is very dangerous. You should stand behind me. Did you know? When I first came here. Steam Bun, Yishu felt that his IQ was rapidly declining. You can chat when there's time. I'm going to pull the monsters, Soft Mist come with me. Okay, Tang-Ru controlled Soft Mist to follow Yishu's Lord Grim. When Lord Grim took out his 1000-chance umbrella, it was already in the battle lance form. It was the same type as Tang-Ru's weapon. Look, the monsters in this dungeon, Yishu said to Tang-Ru while pulling the monsters. He gathered together different types of monsters in combat, explaining them to her while instructing her on how to pull the monsters. Steam Bun Invasion was very lonely. He was bouncing about in front of Seven Fields and Sleeping Moon. Can you guys guess what sign I am? F*CK off. The two said. Steam Bun Invasion was gloomy. He went to the side and began drawing circles. He still felt that the beautiful girl was more gentle and kind. Seven Fields and Sleeping Moon, on the other hand, were watching Lord Grim pull monsters. The more they looked, the more they were amazed. It wasn't because of Brother Expert. They were already used to Brother Expert's skill. The one that amazed them was the girl that Brother Expert brought. After explaining and demonstrating it a few times, this girl had already begun personally going into battle. From her positioning to pulling monsters to attacking to dodging, how was this a new player who had never been to Frost Forest? Who is that person? Seven Fields muttered. With so many experts like this, as a middle-ranked players, they really did feel jealous. In fact, not just these two, but even that brawler noob over at the side drawing circles. After Lord Grim had taught him for a bit, his skill had advanced by leaps and bounds. His hand speed was clearly faster than theirs by a large margin. Right when Seven Fields was feeling heartbroken, Brother Expert and the newly joined girl had brought back a few monsters. Bringing this bunch, Yishu didn't dare use one wave rush. But there were still a lot more monsters that were pulled than normal. Seven Fields and the two others immediately went up to support them. While fighting these monsters, Yishu said this and that to Tang-Ru and Steam Bun Invasion. Sleeping Moon heard this and was baffled. He asked Seven Fields, why is he speaking so much to them? Seven Fields heard this and became heartbroken again. They're planning on setting a new record for Frost Forest at level 25. S5? Sleeping Moon asked. Those 3, Seven Fields said. 3 players? No way, right? Sleeping Moon was stunned. Seven Fields was helpless. This guy really did know how to invite trouble. He could only comprehensively explain, to set a new record, Brother Expert is needed. Brother Expert looks like he's preparing Steam Bun and that girl to help him challenge the record. I don't know who the other 2 members are. Chapter 98, Teaching Like Crazy. Sleeping Moon naturally felt depressed. This clearly meant that 7 fields and his skill weren't good enough. Sleeping Moon didn't want to accept it, but after seeing Lord Grimm, Soft Mist, and Steamed Bun Invasion, they were clearly better than them by a grade. Their constant moving and quick skill release all reflected high hand speed. The gap in their microing was difficult to see, but the fact that they could see it meant that the gap was quite large. 7 Fields and Sleeping Moon fought monsters while heartbroken. Yi Shu was still continuously instructing the two on what to do. Sleeping Moon wanted to learn too, but he wasn't of the same class. The other side was teaching them about the battle mage and brawler. Actively ask for Lord Grimm to teach him? It'd be better to just die. In the end, Sleeping Moon thought of a way. He should stick with Sunset Clouds more. That guy was a blade master like him. If he shamelessly went to that guy to ask for guidance, then couldn't he eavesdrop and learn too? Right when he was thinking of this, he suddenly heard that guy say, "Little Moon Moon, what are you doing?" Sleeping Moon recovered and looked. He started sweating. While he was thinking, he had already killed off his target. He was hacking at nothing right now. Pretending as if nothing had happened, he immediately went back to fighting. Then, he heard that new girl say, "So it's this easy. When the time comes, we're going to have to pull more of them. I'm just letting you get familiar with the dungeon right now. Each monster's position, attack patterns, attack speed, movement speed, you need to pay attention to them all." Steamed Bun too, Yi Shu said. Why do you need to pay attention to them so much? Steamed Bun Invasion was killing the goblins in the dungeon quite relaxed, so he didn't really take things very seriously. Sometimes the final record will only be better by a few seconds. This small difference comes from these small details, Yi Shu explained. So I'm not doing well enough right now? Steamed Bun Invasion asked. Not good enough. But it'll be enough for today. In this run, I'll just give you a rough explanation. A bit later, you go back and continue fighting in the arena. Save up your experience for now. Wait until I gather a few more people, and when the time comes, we'll practice properly. Yi Shu suddenly had this cautious thought. It really was all because this Steamed Bun Invasion behaved too much like a noob. This type of guy wasn't stable. It's be best to spend more time practicing. Luckily, Steamed Bun Invasion was also addicted to PK. Hearing that he didn't need to dungeon, he was actually quite happy. He unreservedly agreed. Yi Shu followed and then suddenly thought of something else. Right, how many points are you at in the arena? 98 points, Steamed Bun Invasion said proudly. He had been playing one-on-one duels in the arena. Each win would only earn him 1 point, so 98 points meant that he had already won against 98 opponents. Don't randomly use your points. Save up until you have 250 points and then trade for a level 25 purple weapon, Yi Shu said. The arena was similar to the pro scene. There were different types of matches that could be played. One-on-one was 1 win, 1 point. The group single elimination competition, winner stays on until defeated, was 2 points for every member on the victorious group. The team competition was different from the pro scene though. It wasn't a 5 players and 1 sub setup. In this competition, players could set it up however they liked. 2v2, 3v3, were all fine. The highest it could go to was a 5v5 with 1 sub, just like in the pro scene. The points earned could be used to trade for equipment. In the level 50, level 60, and level 70 stage, there was even orange equipment that could be traded. Level 50 orange equipment required 8,000 points. Level 60 orange equipment required 10,000 points. Level 70 orange equipment required 12,000 points. This orange equipment couldn't be obtained with just perseverance. That was because starting from level 50 in the arena, besides earning points from winning, players would also lose points. Like this, players unable to achieve a 50% win rate couldn't profit. However, it wasn't like there weren't any shortcuts. There was one method that could earn a player enough points in a single round: gambling. Players could gamble with points, in-game currency, and even equipment. There was no betting limit. In the default setting, if a player opened with 1,000 points, then a challenger could join as long as he had 1,000 points. In addition to this, players could also negotiate. For example, if a player opened with 1,000 points, then if the challenger lost, the challenger would only have to pay 500 points. As long as both sides agreed to it, this sort of setup was possible. The system always acted as the mediator, so it wasn't possible to shamelessly cheat others. Those who dared to open a gamble undoubtedly had a trick or two up their sleeves. But most of the time, players made a profit of 100 points or less, because no one was confident in winning 100% of the time. Of course, there definitely were brave gamblers that made huge bets on one match. These types were usually between two sides with enmity towards each other and used the bet to decide who was better. Apart from this, there were quite a few who had no idea what they were doing. In such a large game with so many players, there were definitely strange players with gambling mindsets that could not be understood by ordinary players. The 10th server was only a new server. With Steamed Bun Invasion's level, there was no difference in fighting in the free-for-all matches or the same level matches. Apart from the fixed field, which didn't give any points or rewards, the other places were all the same. Yi Shu had suddenly recalled that the arena's level 25 purple weapon was a good weapon. Steamed Bun Invasion was currently addicted to PK and he just happened to have the ability to obtain this weapon and increase his strength. Oh, is that weapon powerful? Noobs always had questions. Yi Shu naturally explained it to him. They continued dungeoning and Yi Shu explained to them the entire way. When they reached the boss, he said even more. This was because once the party reached a certain level, as long as they didn't make any mistakes, then the small monsters were nothing and nothing would surprise them. On the other hand, more changes could occur during the long fight with the boss. The few seconds of time that could be improved on came from here. It was Tang Ru's first time in Frost Forest, so Yi Shu taught her the boss's characteristics in detail. Steamed Bun Invasion had already cleared the dungeon several times already, but who else gave such a detailed explanation like this? So he learned quite a bit too. Seven Fields and Sleeping Moon had cleared it before too, so they roughly knew the dungeon. However, after hearing him, they also learned about quite a few details. Especially Yi Shu's lessons on how to deal with certain situations. A lot of those parts made the two widen their scope. In the end, this dungeon took 35 minutes to clear. All because Yi Shu was talking too much. After leaving the dungeon, Yi Shu, whose throat was about to catch fire from being too dry, grabbed the green tea and madly drank a few mouthfuls. He turned his head and asked Tang Ru, "How about it? Do you understand everything now?" This lesson was mainly for Tang Ru. In the end, Tang Ru was happily laughing. No more guessing. No more guessing. I really don't know. Yi Shu turned his head and looked. Steamed Bun Invasion was once again asking her to guess his astrological sign. A mouthful of tea almost spurted out from his nose. Fortunately, Tang Ru immediately replied, "It's all so easy." "Then go solo it," Yi Shu said. "Solo?" Tang Ru stared blankly. "It shouldn't be a problem for you, right? It's all so easy," Yi Shu said. "I'll clear it for you to see." Tang Ru didn't say anything further and entered the dungeon. The Frost Forest dungeon really was a lot harder than the beginner village's educational dungeons. But Tang Ru was still confident she could do it. Soft Mist left the party and then entered the dungeon alone, which made Seven Fields and the others all at a loss. "Brother expert?" Seven Fields was puzzled. "Oh, she's going to practice," Yi Shu said. Solo Frost Forest, Seven Fields felt as if he was going to faint. These guys weren't humans. "Ha ha, she won't be able to do it," Yi Shu said. Although Tang Ru was no longer in the same voice channel as them when she entered the dungeon, she herself was sitting next to Yi Shu. She directly heard it and turned her head. "Who said I won't be able to finish it?" "I said so," Yi Shu laughed. Tang Ru didn't reply and wildly killed monsters. "You guys go look for other players to dungeon with. I'm not going to clear it for now," Yi Shu said to Seven Fields and Sleeping Moon. Oh, as a result, the two looked for other players to party with. Steamed Bun Invasion now had a goal to trade for the purple weapon and seemed even more excited. He yelled loudly, 250, 250. My goal is 250. Among the surrounding surprised players, he ran off to the arena, making Yishu feel another shadow over his heart. Will this guy really be okay? Noobs couldn't be managed, but this sister next to him could still be taught. Yishu pulled up his stool to behind Tang Ru. He drank tea and smoked his cigarette, leisurely watching Tang Ru solo Frost Forest and waiting for a bad situation to occur. With Tang Ru's skill, soloing Frost Forest wasn't an issue of skill. She was already quite proficient with using level 20 and under battle mage skills. The newly learned level 20 skills, Circle Swing and Neutral Chaser, had already been explained before by Yishu. At this moment, she was also gradually getting absorbed into her playing. She had slaughtered her way through very smoothly and easily. It truly wasn't something anyone could do. But right before the first boss, in the last wave of monsters, something bad finally occurred. Pulling a few monsters, her flowing playing continued. Her left hand beautifully swiped the keyboard and used Falling Flower Palm to attack. But Soft Mist didn't respond. After staring blankly for a bit, Tang Ru looked at a system prompt, not enough mana. Tang Ru immediately gave Soft Mist a mana potion to drink. But potions were either instant recovery or slow recovery. Instant recovery potions were high-quality goods. How could beginner village NPCs sell that type of instant recovery potions? Naturally, her potions were the slow recovery ones that required some time before the potion completely took effect. This duration was usually 10 seconds. But different quality potions recovered different amounts every second. While Tang Ru waited for the potion's effects, she used skills to kill off the monsters. In the end, after 10 seconds, the effects disappeared and her mana was also used up again. Potions had a cooldown of 1 minute, so in the following 50 seconds, she had no way of using skills. Tang Ru could only let Soft Mist dodge left and right and used a normal attack whenever there was an opening to. It put her in a somewhat difficult situation. After fighting with difficulty for 50 seconds, she drank another potion and used another 10 seconds worth of skills before her mana was all gone again. Ha ha ha, Yishu laughed, which felt extremely ear-piercing to Tang Ru. She grinded her teeth and endured. Under such a vicious cycle, she was simply wasting her time on these small monsters. Her own injuries weren't light either. And she had to hurriedly begin using food items to recover her health. When we're going for a new clear record, how's there going to be time to rest and recover? Yishu said from behind. Oh, I'll remember to drink potions, Tang Ru said. It's not just drinking potions. It's the rhythm for when to use your skills and potions that's needed to obtain the greatest endurance. You go to the side and watch me play for a bit. I'll show you how it's done, Yishu said. Chapter 99, Endurance Limit. After I finish this round, Tang Ru wouldn't let him. Yishu laughed. He knew that this sister cared about his previous judgment that she wouldn't be able to finish the dungeon, so she insisted on soloing it herself. As a result, he didn't bother her anymore. He left a "call me when you're done" and then dragged his chair back to its original place. Hearing Yishu's tone, it seemed like Yishu didn't care at all whether she could complete the dungeon or not. Tang Ru suddenly felt quite embarrassed. But in her heart, she refused to give up and continued to solo Frost Forest. Forgetting to drink potions was a common mistake among new players. Now that Tang Ru paid attention to this problem, she wouldn't be so careless. She took note of the amount of mana that the mana potion recovered, and wouldn't wait until her mana was completely used before she used a potion. Tang Ru already felt that she was already at the limit using potions like this. But her mana still ran out, so she had no choice but to stop fighting and rest a bit. While she was resting, she turned her head to look at Yishu. Yishu was simply minding his own business and training. Puffing out clouds of smoke, he didn't even glance at her. HMPH, Tang Ru's fighting spirit wouldn't die out because of this. She continued to fight, stop, drink, recover. Just from potion consumption, it was already clear how much more difficult Frost Forest was. She had soloed all 3 dungeons in the beginner village, but when had she ever had such a hard time? Especially when she reached the final boss Frost Thane. It didn't need to be said that this final boss had the most health among all of the monsters in the dungeon. Tang Ru filled up her mana bar. Adding on her potion consumption while battling, she was unable to beat the Frost Thane before her mana depleted. In the end, she had to resort to drinking a potion every minute, using her skills for 10 seconds, and then awkwardly attacking without skills for 50 seconds. She was also lucky that she had already been taught by Yi Shu on the Frost Thane's specialties and attack patterns. If not, then if she had rashly gone to solo, she would have fallen for sure. In this battle, Tang Ru used up a lot of her red and blue potions fighting the Frost Thane. In the end, she was finally able to take down the Frost Thane. And she let out a sigh of relief as if she had a weight off of her mind. The dungeon statistics came out. Time, 1 hour 33 minutes 24 seconds 49 milliseconds. Although she eventually soloed the dungeon, this didn't make Tang Ru feel any sort of sense of success. She also felt too embarrassed to call Yi Shu over. She just sent a message to tell Yi Shu that she had finished. "Oh, you're done?" Yi Shu received the message and sent a reply. "Yeah. You really brought a lot of potions," Yi Shu laughed. Quote. "You should get up. Let me show you how it's done," Yi Shu said. Tang Ru silently dragged the wooden chair to the side. She did want to see how Yi Shu played. She secretly noted how many potions she had used and how many potions she had left. Yi Shu dragged his chair over to sit. He lifted his hands and then let soft mist enter the dungeon. While pulling the monsters, he started explaining, "If you want to reach the endurance limit, then you have to do a lot of meticulous planning and careful accounting. Although the theories are all the same, in different dungeons, the methods you use won't be completely the same. First, the most basic point is to be clear on the amount of mana you have at any time," Yi Shu said. "Yeah, I pay attention to it," Tang Ru said. "After that, you also have to know very well the amount of mana your skills use," Yi Shu said. "Oh," Tang Ru couldn't answer. Sky Strike, Dragon Tooth, Double Stab, she was already quite familiar with these skills, but she had truly never thought of remembering how much mana these skills used. "And after that, we want to use the least amount of mana to do the most amount of damage. First, you have to know what the hidden effects of each skill is. You should have already seen them in those guides, right?" Yi Shu said. "I've seen them," Tang Ru agreed. "Then have you tried your best every time to do the most damage with each skill? For example, Yi Shu talked about a skill. Then, soft mist jumped into the air. The battle lance stabbed a monster and immediately swung, a circle swing. Yeah. Circle swing's hidden effect is that if the arc made is greater than 180 degrees, then it will do more damage. I know this. I also do my best to do this as much as possible," Tang Ru said. "Then have you fully used this skill's AoE effect?" Yi Shu said. The goblin, which had been circle swung, smashed into a group of its comrades. To maximize the damage, you have to consider the AoE effects of each skill, Yi Shu explained while demonstrating. Although Dragon Tooth and Double Stab are single target skills, if we knock the target into the air and then use an aerial attack, we can make the target collide with other enemies and create an AoE effect. Falling Flower Palm is an AoE attack, but its range isn't large. The palm attack can at most hit 3 monsters at the same time. But its blow-away effect is strong. An aerial attack will increase the blow-away effect. So when using this skills, it's best to knock the targets up into the air first. Using a normal attack won't be able to knock up 3 monsters at the same time. You have to use Sky Strike's diagonal knock-up effect. You've seen this in the guide, right? While Yi Shu said this, Soft Mist stepped forward. From a side view, a Sky Strike leapt out hitting 3 goblins into the air, but their heights were clearly uneven and they rose up and fell down at different times. At this moment, Soft Mist had already quickly turned around. Not waiting until these 3 goblins fell, he launched a falling flower palm. The 3 goblins were still in the palm's range. After being blown away, they once again smashed into a group of goblins. After these series of attacks, do you know how much health these goblins have left? Yi Shu asked. Quote. You have to know how much health these monsters have too. When these monsters only have a sliver of health left, a single normal hit will kill them. Why waste your mana on using skills? Skills do more damage, but they can't be rashly used. For example, this goblin over here. If this was a one-on-one scenario, with your skills damage, you have to use at least 3 attacks to finish it. So then, we'll first consider the first combo. Sky Strike, Dragon Tooth, and then a normal attack, Tang Ru said. Yup, it looks like you've already understood this part. But your choice isn't the best one, Yishu said. Why not? Because you forgot that Dragon Tooth will automatically create a chaser, and creating a chaser costs mana. So the best method is, Yishu's hands flicked, a normal attack, a double stab to create the bleed hidden effect, and then let it bleed to death. But double stab's bleed has a chance to fail. The goblin was hit by soft mist's double stab and then really did fall down from the bleed. But double stab only had a 50% chance to bleed. Tang Ru remembered that the guide said this. Right now we're pursuing the limit, not the most dependable way, Yishu said. Oh, I understand, Tang Ru nodded her head. Soon after, Yishu continued to explain. The skill's damages, their mana consumption, the monster's life, how to gather monsters, how to use the skill's features, back attack, aerial attacks, knockups, etc. Effects. The so-called endurance limit playing was simply extremely meticulous planning and careful accounting. Because Yishu had to divide his attention to explain, it wasn't 100% perfect. But even so, Tang Ru still saw that the mana consumption was reduced and that the damage output didn't lose out to her madly using her skills the entire time. In the end, Yishu soloed Frost Forest in 1 hour 12 minutes 21 seconds 32 milliseconds. The harsh 20-minute difference made Tang Ru unable to open her eyes. It wasn't just the time either. Yishu's potion consumption was much less than Tang Ru's. Beside eating food one time before fighting the Frost Thane, he had never stopped fighting the entire time. She knew that this wasn't this guy's limit either. Because Yishu was explaining to her along the way. He had stopped sometimes and gave a demonstration. If this guy had focused on soloing the dungeon, then Tang Ru doubted that he'd even need 1 hour. Do you understand now? After exiting the dungeon, Yishu turned around to ask her. Yup, Tang Ru nodded her head. Practice then. Remember to pay attention to the things I said before. This type of fighting really is tiring, but if we're going to set a new record, then you definitely need to give your 100%, Yishu said. Understood. Tang Ru waited until Yishu let her sit down before returning. After you've finished clearing it twice, use my account to clear it 3 times, Yishu said. You didn't dungeon because you wanted to give me more chances to practice? Tang Ru asked. Yup. My account and your account's damage from skills and mana consumption aren't too different. Using them interchangeably will let you break into this type of fighting style even faster. Once you've formed this sort of habit, concentrate on getting familiar with your own account and you'll be good, Yishu said. Then every time I dungeon, I'll switch accounts, Tang Ru said. That's fine. Then I'll start with your account. Yours 3 times, mine 2 times. 5 times is perfect, Tang Ru said. Okay, Yishu got up and let Tang Ru play on his Lord Grim. Tang Ru sat down and looked at his equipment's damage, skills, and attributes. This made Yishu very happy. This girl had good prospects. The 2 alternately used accounts. Yishu trained. Tang Ru dungeoned. From time to time, Yishu would turn around and give a few pointers. Tang Ru grasped it quickly. Her high mechanical skill was equivalent to having good hardware. In this sort of scenario, installing software was quite easy. With just software and no hardware, then the software couldn't be used. And upgrading hardware was much more troublesome. Seeing Tang Ru's rapid progress, Yishu felt that she was quite reliable. She wasn't like that guy Steamed Bun Invasion, who made him worry. Even worse, Steamed Bun Invasion's level was high. He wasn't like Tang Ru, who was still level 20 and had more space to practice. If it's just these 2, I might still be lacking, Yishu sighed. Right now, he had already understood who his opponents were. They were pros, which made it even more clear what type of strength he needed. Equipment actually didn't need to be understood. Level 25 and the new server, equipment couldn't make much of a difference. The damage was at most at the level of purple equipment. Tang Ru's dungeoning needed an hour. After clearing it 5 times, daybreak had arrived long ago. The internet cafe employees with the morning shift came and saw that there weren't any customers in the internet cafe. There were only these two sitting at the reception desk madly gaming. Wait a bit, seeing that people were coming to take her spot, Tang Ru wouldn't let them. Her precious dungeon entries. How could she let them at this time? Quote, come here. Yi Shu let up his computer. You keep practicing. I'm going to make a phone call, Yi Shu said to Tang Ru. Okay, Tang Ru didn't even turn her head. Hello? Yi Shu called a number. The other side seemed a little fuzzy. Have you gotten up? Yi Shu asked. Huh. The voice immediately became clear. Where are you? Su Mucheng asked. Chapter 100. I only want to play a small role. If you climb to the window, you might be able to see me, Yi Shu laughed. Su Mucheng was still wrapped in her blankets. She kept the blankets wrapped around and climbed to the window. She looked out and swept across the streets. Although the she was pretty high up and the people on the streets were pretty small, it was still easy for her to recognize familiar people. But when Su Mucheng scanned outside, she didn't see anything. I don't see you. Diagonally opposite to you on the streets is a happy internet cafe, Yi Shu said. Oh, I know that internet cafe, Su Mucheng said. After all, she lived around here. Even though she had never been to the internet cafe, she still knew of it. Her gaze shifted to the internet cafe direction, but she still didn't see him. Yeah, I'm in the internet cafe. You're pulling all-nighters again? Su Mucheng understood Yi Shu well. For work, Yi Shu said seriously. Work? Right, I'm working in the internet cafe right now, Yi Shu said. Oh, that fits you well. Although Su Mucheng said that smiling, she couldn't help but grieve in her heart. It didn't matter who switched, this type of gap in level couldn't be adapted so quickly, right? Yi Shu's tone seemed to say that like he couldn't care less. There even seemed to be a trace of pride. But this guy had always been a mouth says yes, heart says no type of guy. Even for her, who was very familiar with him, sometimes didn't know what he was thinking. Yeah, I'm on night duty every day. My life is awfully disciplined now, Yi Shu said. Where are you living? Su Mucheng asked. The internet cafe takes care of food and shelter. Let me tell you this. This internet cafe's lady boss is a super big fan of yours. Give me a signature sometime later. If I give it to her, she'll definitely raise my salary, Yi Shu said. Really? Then I'll go visit you, Su Mucheng said. Do you want to visit me or do you want to be surrounded by fans? Yi Shu said. Su Mucheng was helpless. It's not like she didn't know of this. Regarding pro players like her, internet cafes were the #1 forbidden place. If she went, then she'd definitely cause chaos. Su Mucheng's skill level wasn't considered top tier in the pro scene, but her popularity didn't lose to anyone. This was the beautiful girl effect. Just by relying on her appearance, advertising companies favored her highly. Most of the reason why Chen Guo felt that Su Mucheng was the best female player was because of this sort of PR effect. For example, in the recent years, with his influence rising, Zhou Zikai could be considered the #1 player. He might not be as skilled as the top-tier players like Huang Xiaoshan or Han Wenqing. But he looked handsome and was also stylish. He was suitable for the young and old. Both males and females liked him. The media praised his accomplishments. The advertising companies thought highly of him. From a business standpoint, Zhou Zikai was the undisputed #1. In addition, his skill really was good. Nowadays, the only thing he was missing was the title of league champion. If not, then he would have taken the throne of #1 long ago. Then maybe later when there's a chance. Su Mucheng wasn't in a hurry. Knowing that Yi Shu wasn't too far away and was even in the neighborhood, she immediately felt at peace. I saw yesterday's match. You played pretty well, Yi Shu said. I don't like Sun Shang as a person, but he really is quite strong, Su Mucheng said. But he's still a bit inexperienced, Yi Shu sighed. Yeah. Are you busy these days? You still need to ask this? The two had been so close for all these years. They understood each other's lifestyle and habits extremely well. Come to the new server and help me set a new record. You're playing in the new server? Su Mucheng stared blankly. Yeah. You. I transferred Lord Grim over, Yi Shu said. At this moment, Su Mucheng was silent for quite a long time. She clearly knew a lot about this account. You're planning on leveling this account? Su Mucheng asked. Right. Compared to leveling, the myriad manifestation umbrella is even more troublesome, right? Right, but 1 year is more than enough time, Yi Shu said. And 1 year later? I'll return. I said that a while ago, Yi Shu said. Okay, Su Mucheng suddenly felt like crying. What dungeon record do you want to set? Su Mucheng suddenly felt that this was a problem. If Yi Shu wanted to set a new record in the new server, why would he need her to help? Soon after, Yi Shu explained it to her. After hearing it, Su Mucheng understood, so it turns out you were going to use this type of method to gather materials. No wonder you chose the new server. If things go smoothly, then you might not even need a year. The crucial point is at level 50. I still need to figure out how I'm going to upgrade it to level 70, Yi Shu said. I'll definitely come help you. Okay, so you need to hurry up and level an account to 25. Afterwards, you also need to keep leveling with it, so that you'll be available at any time, Yi Shu ordered. Sure, Su Mucheng smiled while agreeing. After hanging up the phone, Su Mucheng's mood became incomparably good. In reality, she wasn't actually too interested in glory. She only started playing the game to purely play a small role. Who knew that after all these years she'd risen to such a situation? So many people admired her, yet Su Mucheng only wanted to play that small role in her heart. When Yi Shu was forced to retire, she felt that her career as a small role should have also ended. But Yi Shu said that he was still going to come back, so she decided to continue holding on. 1 year. She had originally thought she'd need that much time, but after just a few days, Yi Shu had already come back. That's right, Yi Shu still hadn't returned to the professional alliance. But Su Mucheng had never thought of this. She had only wanted to play a small role, whether it be in the professional alliance or the game, it didn't matter. The happy Su Mucheng hummed a song while getting out of bed. Right when she was washing her face, her cell phone rang again. She immediately ran to look and then picked up the phone. Hello. Mucheng. You said that you wanted to transfer clubs, but that isn't so easy to do. I know Yi Chu's retirement hit you hard. But you have to know that excellent era won't easily let you go. It's all right, Sister Yang, I was just randomly asking, that's all, Su Mucheng smiled. Ah, randomly asking? The person on the other line was somewhat puzzled. When she had asked for this before, it didn't seem like she was just randomly asking. It seemed like she wanted to leave no matter what. Right, I'm doing quite well like this. Do you have anything else? Su Mucheng asked. No, that's it. Then I'll be hanging up. Bye-bye. Su Mucheng really did want to transfer at one point. It was at the same time Yi Shu left. But now that she knew Yi Shu was still here, then it didn't really matter anymore. After tidying everything up, Su Mucheng wrapped herself up tightly and went out the door. When a famous person went out, then she needed to be armed. The club definitely had a new server account card, but Su Mucheng still felt that it was better to buy one herself. Su Mucheng bought a 10th server account card at a newspaper stand diagonally opposite to Happy Internet Cafe. Carrying the new card, Su Mucheng looked at the internet cafe across the street in a daze and wanted to go in to take a look. I've covered myself so tightly. I don't think anyone will be able to recognize me, right? Su Mucheng thought to herself. Then she saw a person swaying side to side with a cigarette in his mouth. Both of his hands were rigidly in his pockets. His head peeped out of the door and he looked around left and right. He turned his head as if he were saying something and then came out. This person, why was he always like this? Su Mucheng looked at him from far away. She didn't know why, but she wanted to laugh. In the end, after seeing the person take a few steps, he unexpectedly waved his hands at her. What? He could still recognize me like this? Su Mucheng was amazed. She immediately looked around left and right to see if anyone else had noticed her. Club Excellent Era wasn't some top-secret military base. The fans in the area all knew where the club was located. There was no lack of zealous fans that would stand guard outside the club waiting to get a signature or take a picture with them. Especially since this place also had the super-secret god Yi Chu. They would sometimes even lie low like a paparazzi. Su Mucheng looked left and right and didn't see anything abnormal. But she still felt that it'd be best to not go forward. She immediately put the account card into her pocket and hurriedly ran back. She snuck back to her room like a thief, locked the door, and then logged into the game. She looked up Lord Grimm online. Oh, you went back pretty quickly, Su Mucheng said to herself. The direction Yi Shu was previously going towards should have been to eat breakfast. She sent a friend request over which was quickly accepted. I'm coming, Su Mucheng sent the message over. The reply came a while later. Huh? Are you his friend? Can you wait a moment? He's out right now so he's not here. Su Mucheng was startled. This account had the myriad manifestation umbrella. How could this account just be casually thrown to the side? You are? Su Mucheng asked. I'm his coworker. He went to buy breakfast. He'll be back soon. The person using Lord Grimm was obviously Tang Ru. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Tang Ru was doing the last dungeon run of the day and finished it in a short moment. Yi Shu had also come back with breakfast. There's someone looking for you. Tang Ru took the breakfast and gave the computer to Yi Shu. Oh, Yi Shu looked. A level 1 new player. He figured out who it was. But when he saw the name, he fainted. Why does it also have the word mist? Did girls nowadays like this word? What name is this? Yi Shu sent a message. Cleansing Mist. Poem. It's from a poem in the Song Dynasty, Su Mucheng replied. You always like to take names from poems. Lord Grimm, etc. They're all your masterpieces, Yi Shu returned. It makes me seem cultured, Su Mucheng replied. Then what about my one autumn leaf? You messed up a word, big sister. Shouldn't it be one falling leaf? Yi Shu said. A mistake. That's a mistake, Su Mucheng replied. Whatever. Hurry up and go level. The faster the better, Yi Shu said. Who was the person using your account just a moment ago? Su Mucheng asked. Oh, that's a sister in the internet cafe. Her mechanical skill is really good, but she's a newbie at the game. She has a lot of potential, Yi Shu said. How could a newbie have high mechanical skill? Su Mucheng didn't understand. Fast hand speed, Yi Shu said. Why would her hand speed be high? How would I know? Can you stop chatting? Hurry up and level for me, Yi Shu said. Yes sir, Su Mucheng took her new account and began to level. Champion? Individual glory? They were okay, but they weren't what she most wanted. The thing she wanted the most was to play a small role like this.